Right, so KPMG is the firm that has been identified to conduct that voter registers audit. It will be conducting it from today through to 18th January. Earlier on, we spoke to the Secretariat CEO Code, that's Magaya, who told us that his concern with this particular audit is that there is no methodology that has been put in place, and also highlighted the fact that as the Coalition for Reforms and Democracy, they would be moving to court to question some of the areas they say are unclear in as far as producing the result that is required to ensure a credible 2017 general election. Joining me now in studio is the Programs Officer of ELOG, that's Marcus Agenga. Marcus, thank you for making time for us. So KPMG is the body, that the firm that will be conducting this audit. And they have until the 18th of January. Of course, this is much later than the exercise was expected to have started. First, in as far as what we have so far on the table, this particular firm, are you confident they'll be able to do a good job between now and 18th of January?
I think one of the things that we need to look at keenly is the methodology that they will put in place to be able to audit the register of voters. And there are a number of methods that are usually employed. And some of them will take shorter time, some of them will take a longer time. So I think we'll be keen as ELOG to observe their methodology. And that's why I think CODE is being very careful that there is no clear methodology. However, in terms of the most appropriate method to audit a voters register is left for the company and the IBC to decide. They could do, for example, computer tests. That simply you use a computer in your desk and you run the tests. Or you could go out in the field and do what we call people-to-list methodology, where you go to the field and Sophie, we ask you your details, we write them down, then we go back to the list that IBC gave us and counter-check if the information is accurate. And that means you have to sample out areas, you have to train people, deploy them, go out, collect information, come back, analyze, write a report, then share with the IBC. So that in itself takes much more longer time than 30 days that the law envisages.
Yeah. And also another issue we've heard court raise is as far as experience of the firm. Now we know it's KPMG, that it was not a requirement that the firm which would carry out this exercise had experience in as far as auditing of voter registers in the past, so as to know that, to have a certain level of confidence that this time around then it's something they've done before and it's not trial and error. Do you share those concerns?
I've never had KPMG do any of voter register before. So that in itself raises some concerns. However, to be very fair, I think if you remember, one of the most contentious issues that were being discussed at the Joint Select Committee was the question of voter register. And if you remember, the Court Coalition were fronting a fresh register.
Altogether.
While Jubilee was saying, let us just clean what we have. So that now that CODE is raising an issue with it, and with the firm, and with the unclear methodology, it's something that we really need to get concerned about, because CODE is a major coalition and is a major partner in the electoral process. And now I think, Alon, you ask whether this auditing, how will it impact on 2017? And you see, if CODE manages to convince its supporters that what we have is a sham, it's not genuine, it's not accurate, then it's a recipe for chaos. Now, audit for voters register serves three purposes. One is to see whether the voters register is complete. Do we have eligible voters registered? The second thing is about accuracy. Are the details in the register accurate? The last one is timeliness of the register. So all these things must be factored in. And I think remove the voters register in Kenya, then you have an electoral process that is extremely disadvantaged.
Yeah. And this will be running into, although maybe by a day or two, the mass voter registration exercise. By the time this is getting completed, then you'll be having the exercise beginning as well. Is that an issue? Or is
it is not an issue from where I sit. You know, the IBC has planned to conduct two types of registration of voters. One, what we call the registration of voters within Kenya and outside Kenya. So for Kenya, we shall have it on in January or to February. Then we shall have for 15 days to register Kenyans in the diaspora. So after that, we shall have a number of things will happen. You know, when you register, give it time for them to upload the details, have them in the register. Then they'll open that register for public scrutiny sometime in May. So after that public scrutiny, then what happens is that guys, you know, you query the system and see if you have been properly captured. After that, then again there'll be a need for another audit, given that we have done a registration, because it's one thing to do now, and they come up with the recommendations. Then 5 months later, with this need again to do another fresh audit of the register, and that's what ELOG is going to do. And we have put in place structures and mechanisms to audit the voters register ourselves.
Yourselves. And looking at the timelines we have, about 8 months to the general election, you have issue of commissioners that has not yet been resolved. You don't have a commission in place. The voters register is what we're talking about, an audit, and the registration exercise in itself yet to be completed next year, and IBC has not been meeting its targets. You have the gadgets, again, that's an issue. The law requires biometrics, and IBC has been saying there's an issue with what they currently have, and that they need to make a change to be able to have what the law has stipulated. Then the funds, in terms of voter education and getting all this information out, usually they're running behind budget. They never get the money they ask for, so it's always a strain to get ends to meet. That and many other issues. Does this worry you as ELOG, that you are going to an election? We have witnessed election violence in the past, but we appear to be having all the making of an even worse scenario, but yet we are heading on straight to it with eyes wide open.
We are worried, and I think very soon ELOG will issue a statement on the state of preparedness towards 2017 general election. However, two things that I can comment on. One, the question of money. Ezra Chiloba has been very clear that they have enough money that they require. So, I mean, he said it publicly several times that they have enough money that they require to conduct this process. Now, with the timelines that we have as a result of the amendments to the electoral laws, and a few changes have happened. Like now, the number of polling stations have been increased. That therefore also puts pressure on the amount of money that is now required. Requires that you'll have to have more polling officials. That is as a cost element to it. In terms of preparation, that requires money. However, I think, just to be very brief, there is a problem. Without a commission in place, you see, they resigned. They resigned. So it worries electoral actors that you have a secretariat without a commission. I mean, the commission is there. I mean, 3 months ago. So, I mean, they report to work and they're being paid, isn't it?
Right.
However, they are tendered the resignation, which was then accepted by the president. So, in terms of legal competence of the officers, I mean, of both the secretariats and also the commission, it puts a lot of doubt into the system, which then worries most Kenyans that what's happening, because the constitution mandates IBC to conduct election and most of the process, like voter registration, like now January, the first week of January, we'll have voter registration week happening. Now, when you don't have a commission in place, I know the secretary can do some work, but you need someone to oversight what the work is being
policy
done.
Work.
Policy, exactly. So it's a problem, and very soon I think we'll come out as ELOG to comment on some of these things.
All right. Thank you so much, Marcus Agenga, for making time for News Center. Marcus is a program officer with ELOG, talking to us about his sentiments on the auditing of the voters register and the progress or lack of it that we've been able to witness so far.